Viltrox 35mm 1.7. In this case, I have it for Fuji, so XF, but there are other mounts that this lens is available for. It's another budget-oriented Viltrox lens with 1.7 aperture, and I'm very happy to see that because previous lenses that I've been testing, and you can see it on my channel, like 56mm and 40mm full-frame lens, were very, very and surprisingly good, specifically for its price, but even not considering the price, those are very capable, very good lenses. So let's see if this lens is the same story. So if it's budget oriented, small, lightweight, and good. So let's talk about build quality and features. There's not a lot of features. So there's this USB-C port for future firmware updates. There's no weather sealing. You know, this is budget oriented lens. There's only focus ring that is actually pretty good. Not my favorite though, a little bit too tight for my taste. Maybe it will change with time of using it, but I like to, you know, operate lenses with one finger sometimes, holding it, so that's not too easy because it's a little bit too stiff, but that's just my taste. There's a filter thread of 52mm, so it's quite a popular filter thread. Good decision from Viltrox. And actually I have Viltrox UV Pro MC filter on it, 52mm, and I had no idea Viltrox is making this, guys. So if you're looking for a good UV filter to protect your glass, this is a perfect match, Viltrox with Viltrox. And it's very small, compact, and lightweight. Nice. Affiliate links in the description below. No money exchange, just affiliate links. So if you want to support my channel, please don't forget to click there. Now, let's go back to build quality. It's a lightweight, small, and nice looking lens. It's a typical Viltrox build quality for these budget-oriented versions of lenses, which is a good thing. Nothing is squeaky, everything works fine. And of course, you have this you know, shady thing, shader thing here. All right, now let's talk about the most important features, which is sharpness. So at f1.7, sharpness is pretty good in the middle of the frame. I gotta say I'm impressed because this is once again low budget lens. So the sharpness is pretty good, and in the corners it's still very decent. There is a drop of sharpness, obviously, but that's what you would expect at 1.7. But there's not a lot of drop in contrast. It just works very good, and not a lot of chromatic aberration, which we will talk later on. If you want a perfect sharpness, f2.8, this is my recommendation. We will talk about it when it comes to close-up images. Now, when it comes to work against harsh light, against the light, it's a typical budget-oriented budget-oriented lens behavior. So you have a decent amount of lens flaring, but I actually like the look of this lens flare. So if you're looking for some spectacular lens flare effects, this lens is good. So you have drop of contrast, obviously, you have a lot of lens flare, but nothing to, you know, nothing of a deal breaker, not at all. Like, I mean, that's more or less what you would expect here. So if you want to reduce that, just use this accessory and you're good to go. Now, when it comes to close-up images, those are a tad soft. So if you want to get closer to your object, which is possible with this lens, then you want to stop it down. f2.0 would be my recommended minimum, but if you want something really sharp, go with 2.8 or something above that. But 2.8 is already really sharp. And 1.7 is just, for my taste, a little too soft. Now let's talk about vignetting. Vignetting on this lens is, I think, the biggest downside of this lens. So it's quite extensive at 1.7, specifically if you see the sky in your frame. But again, it's pretty even, so easy to remove in post-production. So either you turn on like image in body image correction, or you edit it or you shoot in RAW and you know, remove it in post-production. So in post-production, it goes out pretty easily, pretty quickly, but something to be aware of. Now let's talk about bokeh, or out of the focus zone, right? So bokeh is surprisingly nice in this lens. In the center of the frame, it's very round, it's very clean, no onion effect, no, you know, mess. It's very, very clean, and I'm surprised. There's a cat effect toward the corner, which is nice because in general, those Viltrox, budget-oriented Viltrox lenses, what I'm like observing here, they usually produce this a little retro-oriented, retro-looking out of sharpness image. So I like that. This is, but it's a matter of taste. You may not like it. Me personally, me like it. Me like it. So yeah, it produces very nice bokeh. And when it comes to portrait work, you know, the separation of your model from the background, this cutout, or however you call it, is very nice. And this 1.7 is actually a very nice touch for a budget lens. It gives you this extra brightness when compared to 1.8. Not a lot of difference, but there is a difference that is visible. As talking about portraits, autofocus performance. Autofocus performance is pretty nice because it's very snappy. It's not the fastest out there, but I tested it on Fuji system that is, well, let's face it, not an autofocus monster, so probably it would perform better on Sony APS-C body, like not probably, but for sure. But testing it on Fuji was a pleasure. It's quiet, it's responsive, and it's precise. So I have to say, good job Viltrox, because they are using some kind of quiet, motor here. And like my recent test, for example, of this budget-oriented Nikon 50mm 1.4 lens shows that it's not obvious even nowadays, because this motor in this Nikon lens was pretty loud. This one, not at all. Now, focus breathing. So breathing, you know, like very difficult to pronounce for me, but you know what I'm talking about. So if you want to do some video work, if you plan to do some, focus pulling here and there, then this is another good news, that focus breathing is very well controlled on this lens. Really good job, Viltrox, again. Now let's talk about chromatic aberration. Chromatic aberration is almost invisible here. I mean, like really, I'm surprised. It's very good. I mean, if you take a very close look at this text here, you can see some bluish tint, some maybe orange tint here and there, but really very well controlled chromatic aberration, which is a good thing, because if you have this not that fantastic way work against harsh light, then at least you don't have to remove this chromatic aberration here. Talking about stars, stars are okay, are not messy, not perfect. Talking about this Nikon, I mentioned this before, like Nikon 50mm 1.4 has this perfect, super clean stars. This guy is just okay, but something you would expect from a budget-oriented lens. But I gotta say, it's pretty clean, it's pretty okay, so if you're planning to do some night shots in the city, you'll get decent looking stars. Now let's talk about the most important category to me, which is, did I have a pleasure taking photos with it? Would I take it to some kind of, I don't know, paid session, client work? And conclusion. So yes, I did enjoy working with it a lot. For those of you that follow my channel for some time, you know that I like lightweight and easy to use setups. So this guy with my Fujifilm X-S20 is just a perfect combination. I love it. It's small, it's compact, and it's nice to walk around with this lens. And the focal length of 35mm is somewhere close to 50mm on full frame. So I basically like it. With this extra protection from this original Viltrox UV filter, I like it a lot, and you can produce very nice looking images. So in conclusion, would I recommend this lens? Absolutely yes. For that price and that weight, it's very hard to find anything better than that. With this like knowledge in mind that it does have substantial amount of vignetting, and a little drop of sharpness when it comes to close-up that you have to stop it down, then you are good to go. I hope you guys enjoyed my review of this Viltrox lens. If you did, please don't forget to leave thumbs up, subscribe, as always it gives me wings, and I see you guys in the next recording. And don't forget also to click some affiliate links in the description below if you're planning to buy one of these guys, which I recommend actually straight from the heart. Cheers.